Hey fans, back at it again, and this time with a little tale about a college athlete turned uber popular YouTuber with dreams of getting into the National Football League. But before we get into all of that and tell you how he's faring, do me a favor and hit that subscribe to stay up to date on this channel and our content. All done? All right, let's go. Victim of the politics that have seen several players supposedly blacklisted by the NFL, or victim of his own rising media star, however you see it, viral YouTube sensation, Deestroying has the talent to play in the NFL, but is yet to get his foot in the door. After kicking at the college level for the University of Central Florida, Deestroying, whose real name is Donald De La Haye, is still trying to get into the league and believes wholeheartedly that he can, as is evident if you've ever watched any of the many videos he has posted on his YouTube channel. However, the 23-year-old is set to get his shot in the league. So let's back up a bit and qualify Deestroying and his kicking chops. De La Haye was a kicker in his hometown in Florida and took his talents to the next level in 2015 and served as a kickoff specialist for the University of Central Florida. During this time, De La Haye also started a YouTube channel with content that revolved around college football, kicking, and a wide variety that quickly grew his popularity. As his YouTube's popularity and subscribers began to rise, more eyes were tuning in to see what Deestroying would post next. Some of those eyes, unfortunately, were the NCAAs. Back in 2017, the antiquated NCAA rules stated that a college athlete could not use their own name or likeness for any sort of financial gain. The exception being, of course, earning a scholarship. Naturally, as the NCAA caught wind of De La Haye and his YouTube channel, which featured University of Central Florida athletes, their names and likeness, action followed. The powers that be asked Deestroying to demonetize his YouTube channel if he chose to stay on the football team. Not only was he asked to demonetize the channel, but if he was to continue using it as a UCF player, he could no longer use his name or likeness, which were in fact the essence of his YouTube channel. YouTubers became brands, and the NCAA were essentially asking the young kicker to stop doing the thing that was making his name spread like wildfire among his growing YouTube fanbase. De La Haye chose his budding YouTube career over his kicking career and gave up his NCAA eligibility and scholarship. Deestroying would continue to post content as he saw fit and would go on to sue the NCAA for their judgment and ended up settling with them in order to continue his education there. The YouTube channel was his livelihood, and once his scholarship was taken, De La Haye even started a GoFundMe page to be able to pay for his tuition. As this was before the legislation that passed that allowed student athletes to profit in select states, De La Haye's choice was noble and costly at the time. Not many would give up the chance at a full ride for a YouTube channel, but if you're one as determined or well known as he was becoming, I guess that decision isn't as much of a toss-up as it would be for some. Whatever the case, Deestroying's decision made him even more popular, but may have placed a target on his back, because as some feel, the NFL was taking note. De La Haye didn't let the adversity stop his drive to get into the National Football League. Now that he was able to post what he wanted and no longer being eligible to play college football, Deestroying was given more time to focus on his YouTube channel. As the channel grew, it also became to evolve from trick shots and skits and began featuring NFL stars such as Cam Newton, Antonio Brown, Tyreek Hill, and Juju Smith-Schuster. Although the YouTuber's popularity was growing, his path to the NFL was not as successful and quite murky. De La Haye was able to use his agent to get him a professional tryout, but it wasn't for the league he hoped for, but would still get his shot at being a professional athlete. His shot would come as De La Haye was invited to a tryout with the Canadian Football League's Toronto Argonauts, but as De La Haye would come to find out, he wasn't invited alone. The Argonauts brought 3 other kickers to tryouts, and all of them had played in the NFL, the league that De La Haye was aspiring towards. At the tryouts, Deestroying said his skills were certainly up to par, if not better than the other 3 kickers. After doing what he needed to do at the tryouts and showcasing his strong leg and accuracy that he's demonstrated plenty of times on his channel, a confident De La Haye left the tryouts and waited for a call from the Argonauts to confirm his own assessment from the tryouts, and that call would come. He was invited to training camp and packed his bags on a whim and moved to Canada. The move was a swift one for Deestroying, who was still paying for his apartment back home. When De La Haye arrived at the Argonauts training camp, there were 4 other kickers besides himself that were also invited. This was curious to Deestroying, who claimed that normally at training camp there are 2, maybe 3 kickers brought in. Another surprise thrown at De La Haye was the fact that he would be asked to place kick and punt. Place kicking wouldn't be a problem for the sure-leg kicker, who had been demonstrating his kicking chops on YouTube since he was a teenager, and was already a kickoff specialist at the University of Central Florida, but punting was something new. Putting adversity aside, Deestroying would perform well in any kicking task he was asked, but ended up finding himself curiously on the practice squad. He still took the practice squad placement in stride and practiced patience while he waited for his shot. As injuries would happen, other kickers would get brought in, and De La Haye, who was next in line, would keep getting overlooked. On his YouTube channel, he would go on to say that he was brought in for clout, as the Argonauts were looking to grow their following by having a popular YouTube star on the roster. As he would continue to get bypassed, it looked like he was right, and he wasn't there for an actual shot at the starting job. Being a practice squatter and being faced with making minimum wage but being a professional athlete was a tough pill for Deestroying to swallow. Even tougher given that his normal 2 to 3 posts per week were reduced to about 1 post every 2 weeks, as he was committed to the Argonauts. After being quote-unquote suspended, De La Haye decided it was time to focus on his channel and himself. The kicker was released, and he would continue his journey elsewhere. The many fans on his channel littered the comments on his content, claiming the Argonauts were also just using him for his popularity, so it appears that he chose rightly by leaving the Argonauts in his rear view and focusing on the YouTube channel and other ways to pursue his dreams of kicking in the NFL. Clearly a talented place kicker and kickoff specialist and even a punter, De La Haye is a league quality player. So, why hasn't the National Football League come calling? There are many speculating that after his incident in college that involved him suing the NCAA, he was seen as more of a problem than any team was willing to take on. Many of the comments on his YouTube channel even compare the athlete to wide receiver Antonio Brown, who has all but ended his own NFL career with his locker room disruptions and off-the-field antics. We've seen how the league treats athletes that draw the wrong type of attention. Just ask former 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who by his own accounts is more than ready to play. If this is the case, the road to Deestroying to kicking in the NFL may be tougher than even he has anticipated, but as his latest video and quotes about his aspirations would suggest, he is still optimistic and trying to make his dreams come true. If you haven't checked out Deestroying's YouTube channel, it is clear that he isn't just a kicker and is a legitimate athlete. If he isn't blacklisted from the league and does get a legitimate shot, it's possible he can even latch on at a different position. Wide receiver, maybe? Before you say he's too undersized, remember, Marquise Hollywood Brown was 170 pounds as a rookie. His YouTube fan base is divided on the notion of a position switch. While some think he can make it as a kicker or even a wide receiver, other commenters think he lacks the explosiveness to play anything other than kicker. One thing is for sure, as long as he is connected with the players in the league and continues to grow his YouTube channel, currently climbing towards 3 million subscribers, perhaps his future is YouTube and he made the right choice in college all along. Well, whatever choice Deestroying does make, we will all be here to see his journey to the league or towards the elite of YouTube. Feel free to help us become elite by hitting that like and dropping us a comment down below. Let us know what you think about Deestroying and his chances of getting into the league. Is he better off sticking with YouTube, or should he continue to pursue his dream of kicking in the league? Until next time, have an awesome day.